no escape!
Balrog Origins Street Fighter. Hello and welcome to another marvelous video. Today we will be exploring the backstory of another iconic Street Fighter character, and today's character is Balrog, or M. Bison, for our Japanese viewers. When Street Fighter II was first released in Japan, some characters had alternate names to the ones we finally got in the West. For example, the character known as M. Bison was known as Vega, while the character known as Vega was known as Balrog. That's how Balrog got to be M. Bison. It's a bit confusing, I know. Allow us to explain later. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Balrog is based on a former boxing champ. That's right, his character was based on the baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson. Mike Bison. Mike Tyson. Get it? Capcom was concerned about a lawsuit from Mike Tyson for the character's blatant parallels to him and his similar name when Street Fighter II was adapted into English. The names of the three bosses were modified, so M. Bison became Balrog, Balrog became Vega, and Vega became M. Bison. Bison may be visible on the waistband of Balrog's trunks in some pictures, although it is frequently deleted when these illustrations are published outside Japan. Tyson was not even aware this character existed for years, much less that his likeness was used in the initial design and name. Even though he appeared to be making fun of the possibility of a legal battle, he did express his honor at the portrayal of him.
I've been waiting to break your face for a long time. Get ready, cause I'm gonna be sending you straight to a closed casket funeral!
What was Balrog really like? Balrog is an African-American boxer who is tall, bulky, and highly muscular. He is sporting red boxing gloves, shoes, a ripped white t-shirt underneath a blue tank top, and blue boxer trunks with white trim. His short hairdo is reminiscent of Mike Tyson in the years before the release of Street Fighter II. He was also seen in official artwork of the period without canine teeth in the top right corner of his mouth. In Street Fighter V, he adopted his look as his nostalgia costume. Balrog appears in Street Fighter V sporting a blue openly hooded robe with yellow detailing and ripped sleeves. On the back, it has the design Crazy Buffalo and a black circular sign. The outline on his boxing gloves is black with golden star designs. His shorts are black and he wears pairing boxing boots with white borders. His black boxer shorts and boxing boots, which mirror those of Mike Tyson in his cameo as the final boss of Punch-Out's World Circuit, are most likely a tribute to Tyson's legendary appearance in the Nintendo game Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Balrog is a harsh, arrogant, self-centered, and short-tempered character. He is a vicious fighter with an insatiable need for cash and a cold, vengeful streak who regularly dodges accountability for his action. Despite formerly being an excellent prize fighter, Balrog intentionally cheated in his fights whenever he felt like it and even inadvertently killed one of his rivals. Balrog is also revealed to lack leadership qualities. After M. Bison was presumed dead during the events of Street Fighter Alpha 3, the job of head of the organization fell to him and it instantly crumbled, forcing him to work as a security guard at casinos and other venues just to get by. His lack of competence in activities other than fighting has been linked to his rebellions and delinquent adolescence, as his quest for power and domination in his native city's rough streets caused him to drop out of school. Contrary to common assumption, Balrog is not unintelligent, particularly in Street Fighter V. In the game, he demonstrates his ability to devise otherwise effective schemes for his and Ed's personal advantage. There's also the issue of being able to conceal the fact that he was parenting Ed without being detected. He has also demonstrated a far more sophisticated combat technique than in previous games. His general recklessness and lack of leadership abilities contribute to the widespread misunderstanding about his IQ. Throughout the Street Fighter series, his goals for joining Shadaloo and M. Bison have always been to amass immense fortune, fame, and glory in order to live on an easy street for the rest of his life. As a result, while Balrog will deceive, steal, or even kill to achieve this goal, he is not wicked so much as greedy and has no significant interest in Shadaloo activities otherwise. He also relates to others with similar motives. His relationship with Ed is the single instance of empathy and humanity in him, demonstrating that deep down he is capable of healthy relationships, compassion, and even fellowship. Even after their disagreement and the latter's departure, he is revealed to honestly care about Ed. Balrog history explored. who grew up in squalor, was once a renowned boxing champion and prize fighter who battled his way to the top. However, because of his rather cutthroat and merciless personality from his experience on the streets, he was barred from boxing in his later career for permanently hurting and inadvertently murdering one of his opponents and his illegal tactics, notably his headbutt. Though he was famous, especially in his hometown of Las Vegas, he desired money over glory, which led him to join the Shadaloo criminal organization, where he eventually became M. Bison's primary enforcer. In Street Fighter Alpha 3, we see Balrog kill kill Dalsim's elephant with one punch while on a mission for Bison. At another time, despite not knowing why, he consented to murder Birdie. Birdie, on the other hand, told Balrog about the Psycho Drive, and the former boxer decided to assist him in finding it to benefit from it. However, the Psycho Drive was destroyed, and Balrog discovered he hadn't been paid in a long time. In Street Fighter II Turbo, the ownership of Shadaloo was given to the former prize fighter when Bison committed suicide after being vanquished by the other world warriors. Unfortunately, he quickly ran the entire business into the ground because he lacked managerial skills and expertise. Balrog found himself back in the streets when Shadaloo was overthrown, performing menial jobs like security at casino parlors. When Bison returns in Super Street Fighter IV thanks to the creation of a new body, Balrog is immediately drawn back into the organization. He is hired by Bison to pick up Seth after he is defeated by Ryu, deliver him to Bison's headquarters, and guard Bison's substitute bodies, which Balrog relates to as dolls. On the other hand, Balrog is unhappy and comes up with a new scheme to get wealthy quickly. The two agents Balrog and Vega enter the Sin headquarters together. In his ending, he discovers a small bandaged youngster asking for help while seeking treasure. Balrog is initially uninterested until he spots a glowing mark in the shape of the Shadaloo sign on his palm. Assuming he has finally lucked out, Balrog takes the youngster out of the wreckage, realizing he may hold some crucial knowledge. When Balrog asks what the youngster can accomplish, he reveals that he is worthless on his own. However, Balrog transports the boy away. Balrog is confident that the youngster will be helpful to him one day in the future. Fang was impressed that Balrog had found the bandaged youngster from the Sin laboratory, who is revealed to be Ed in his Street Fighter V character narrative. Fang informs him about their plan, Operation Chains, which is already in full swing, and instructs him to keep his knowledge a secret. He also mentions that his acts are deemed treason, prompting Balrog to fight him. Following the uproar, Balrog manages to knock Fang's hat off before fleeing, claiming that he has business to do. When he summons Ed, Ed manages to burn the hat to ashes. Balrog and Ed meet up with Urien in China, and Necalli confronts them in order to consume their soul. Urien orders Balrog to beat up Necalli in exchange for some reward money, which Balrog enthusiastically accepts as he fights off Necalli. Necalli was vanquished and turned into dust. In exchange for his assistance to Shadaloo, Urien offers him the bounty and asks him to provide the data from Operation Chains. Balrog receives the money. Back at the Shadaloo base, Ed observes that Urien was a jerk. Balrog explains that he would beat him up after the work is completed. Ed accepts his proposal as he and Balrog walk away. Balrog also made a few cameo appearances in other character stories. Balrog appears in M. Bison's character tale, but does not speak. He is pictured attending a Shadaloo meeting on the doll's status. He also appears in Urien's character tale, which contrasts with Balrog's. Balrog takes the bounty from Urien after defeating Necalli, who wants him to transfer the data of Operation Chains in return for Shadaloo's assistance. When Balrog takes his prize, he taunts him for making an incorrect payment, forcing Urien to snap and admonish Balrog for breaking their agreement as the battle commences. Balrog was no match for Urien, and Ed helped him unleash his psycho powers. Urien manages to disperse it and is interested in finding that Ed was formed by Bison's psycho powers as he exited, requesting that Balrog not manufacture any more occurrences. In Street Fighter III, he is also noted in a secret file as having participated in an event called the Veil Tudo Eternal Fighting before the events of Street Fighter III New Generation. Balrog beat opponents like Bernardo, Camo Leopoldo, and Jumbo Flapjack in the competition. In the finals, he would face Alex. Alex stayed put and continued to take Bison's punches in the first round as if he had roots in his leg, but as soon as the second round began, he knocked Balrog out with a powerful hit. Alex escaped the battle with only the upper right side of his body injured. In the video game world, Balrog has also made several crossover appearances. Like Capcom vs SNK Millennium Fight 2000, Capcom vs SNK 2 Mark of the Millennium 2001, and SNK's vs Capcom SVC Chaos all include Balrog. Balrog is dispatched to collect Pandora's Box in Street Fighter X Tekken alongside Vega. Even though they hate one another, they stick together to get Pandora's Box for themselves. Yoshimitsu and Raven, their adversaries, attack them as they journey. The conclusion of Balrog and Vega shows Balrog trying to open the box, but the former prize boxer becomes tired of his co-worker's conceit and chooses to kill Vega to take the box for himself. Both get possessed by Pandora's power and start attacking one another. An after-credits scene reveals the outcome of Balrog. It is said that if the player overcame Ogre with Balrog, he won the fight and murdered Vega, getting Pandora for himself. Balrog then exploited its abilities to eliminate his opponents, beginning with his previous boss M. Bison. If the player beats Ogre with Vega, it is claimed that Balrog was vanquished and slain. Balrog is one of Mega Man's bosses in Street Fighter Cross Mega Man. He possesses double the health of the other bosses and will quickly defeat Mega Man if he comes into touch with him. As the screen rolls to the right, Balrog will continually employ his violent buffalo, and other foes and obstacles must be avoided. If Mega Man lives long enough, Balrog will fall into an infinite pit, allowing the super fighting robot to progress.
Why don't you just drop dead?
What makes Balrog so strong? Since kicks are forbidden in boxing, Balrog and Dudley are the only Street Fighter's characters with almost nearly all arm-based attacks since both are boxers. Despite this, Balrog has no qualms about breaking boxing rules both inside and outside the ring. He typically uses a headbutt, and in Super Street Fighter 4, his second ultra combo, known as Dirty Bull, has him grab the opponent, headbutt him, stomp on their foot, and then deliver a devastating elbow blow. Balrog is a good boxer despite his lack of discipline. He depends on punching speed and brute strength to deliver powerful regular strikes. A big chunk of his moveset consists of various dashing punches, including his super combos. Still, he also employs low sweep strikes, uppercuts, smash blows, and overhead swings, which, when used correctly, may keep the opponent guessing. Balrog, unlike other characters, had no distinctive attacks until he arrived in Street Fighter V. Balrog adds more crude boxing skills in Street Fighter V, contrasting with Dudley's special moves. His V skill is the KKB, where he could spin his body while advancing forward, deflecting projectiles, and stringing together string combos against his opponents. His V trigger is called Crazy Rush, and when used, it let him perform a varied combination using both his bursting buffalo techniques and charging buffalo. His critical art is the Gigaton Blow, in which he delivers a devastating straight punch to his opponent. Balrog also gets a new unique technique called Stomping Combo, which consists of a crouching punch followed by a stomp, his second assault using his feet. Like most of his fellow Street Fighters, Balrog possesses superhuman speed, strength, and durability. Marvelous appearances of Balrog in other media. Grand L. Bush played him in the 1994 live-action film Street Fighter, and he was one of the heroes who worked as a cameraman on Chun-Li's new team. Like the other members, Balrog resented Shadaloo for destroying his fighting career. He dons his traditional gaming costume near the end of the film. Balrog is played by Michael Clark Duncan in the film Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. In Shadaloo, he continues to serve as one of Bison's devoted enforcers alongside Vega. The character had better luck in terms of a meaningful run in the animated universe. Balrog's characterization in Street Fighter II, the animated movie, is similar to his original role in the game, a stupid muscle for Bison. In the English dub, he is voiced by Joe Romersa, whereas in the Japanese version, he is played by Joji Nakata. He initially appears in the series as a Shadaloo representative at a criminal conference in Las Vegas where he witnesses a fight between Zangief and Blanca. Later he travels to Thailand with M. Bison for the final fight. While Bison fights Guile while Hypnotized Ken fights Ryu, Balrog fights E. Honda. Surprisingly, he does not use boxing gloves during the bout. Though Balrog initially gets the upper hand, repeatedly striking and headbutting Honda in fast succession, Honda responds with his own headbutt. The two charge towards each other, and their contact's force propels them down a cliff face. Ultimately, Honda overcomes Balrog and is shown bringing his comatose body up the slope following Bison's defeat. In the 1995 anime series Street Fighter, Balrog is not just a fighter, but also a scientist who programs Shadaloo computers for M. Bison, in contrast to his traditional brainless muscular caricature. Although the series incorporates some themes from the 1994 film, the alignments of Balrog and DJ were reversed during production. He only appears once in the episode The Medium is the Message, in which he fabricates a film portraying the Street Fighters defiling a precious Hindu temple in India on Bison's instructions. Paul Dobson provides his voice. In the anime series Street Fighter II V, Balrog, despite not being a boxer, continues to work for Shadaloo as a spy, tasked with infiltrating the police forces in charge of looking into and stopping Shadaloo's crimes and reporting such operations to M. Bison while passing himself off to the law enforcement officials as a legitimate Interpol executive. Using this mask, he convinces Cammy, a mercenary assassin who is unrelated to Shadaloo in the series, to kill Dorai, a federal Hong Kong police officer and Chun-Li's father, by claiming that he is the purported drug lord in the Chinese subsidiary of Shadaloo's drug route. However, Dorai survives the assassination attempt despite suffering severe injuries and going into a coma. Cammy learns that she has been duped by Balrog after defeating Fei Long, who is defending the still-alive Dorai, and assaults Balrog in the same manner as she did with Dorai, but without murdering him. After quitting her employment, Cammy gives the severely injured Balrog to Fei Long and the local officials. Balrog also appears in Street Fighter: The Storytelling Game, a role-playing game based on the Street Fighter franchise. It was published in 1994 and featured most Super Street Fighter II characters. Most of the core game mechanics from White Wolf's World of Darkness games are used. Sounds exciting, right? Too bad the game is now unavailable. Balrog is even the subject of Balrog Behind the Glory, a short documentary fan film that premiered on Evolution 2011 Championships. The production team, called Chubby Boy Films, created the short film. The film depicts Balrog's brief history, including his childhood story of being bullied and constantly battling against the bullies, his training from his father, who also boxed, his winning success in his boxing career, and the media popularity, his marriage and separation with a supermodel, how he was taken advantage of by managers and corporates due to his greed, and his controversial headbutt that took the life of a boxer, resulting in a disqualification ban in boxing and in prison. The film also delves into his journey into Mad Gear and Shadaloo, his name change from Mike Bison to Balrog, and what happened to him after that. The documentary featured interviews with book author Micah Schultz, who wrote about Shadaloo's ascent and fall, Balrog's father, Craig Bison, and former trainer Tim Tasher.
Balrog wins.
Marvelous verdict. Balrog is an iconic classic character who rounded out the Street Fighter lineup with his physical power and straightforward boxing technique. He wasn't as fascinating as the other characters in the series, but he was indeed Mike Tyson, which is fantastic because Tyson is a legend. Balrog became more of a comedic relief character later in the Alpha series and following, which was a wise choice by Capcom. He needed something to keep his design new, but he kept all of the fundamental features of his design intact. Balrog's Street Fighter IV rendition was likewise excellent. Fortunately, he mastered a few new tactics while maintaining his straightforward boxing approach. Eventually, Balrog added a certain level of reality to combat games in the early 90s when it was much needed. Balrog just said, "I'm gonna punch you in the face really hard, grab your money or tokens in this case, and be done with it." In Street Fighter II, a game that gained notoriety for the overuse of fantastical attacks, spinning bird kick, and magical fireballs. For that, we all should say thank you to Balrog. Who's your favorite Street Fighter character? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like and share button if you enjoyed watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.